Stop now and listen, for I, Michael, sent by the Most High, speak directly to you in this moment marked by heaven. This is not a common word. It is an urgent summons from the eternal throne. The sound reaching your ears is not a human echo. It is a heavenly announcement that comes to awaken your spirit and align your heart with the divine purpose. You were chosen, set apart, and kept to hear these words at the exact time. Nothing you have gone through until now was coincidence. Nothing you have endured was forgotten, and no silence you faced was abandonment. I stand before you as a messenger of the Most High to declare that an intervention has been decreed over your life, and nothing can stop the move that is already underway. Listen carefully, because the heavens have moved in your direction. The tears you thought had fallen in vain were gathered as precious seeds before the throne. Every night of anguish, every secret plea, every thought suffocated by pain was faithfully recorded in the book of life. The silence that confused you so much was not the absence of an answer, but the strategic preparation of the Most High, so that your heart would mature and your spirit would grow strong. I have come to reveal to you that you were not forgotten. You were being preserved, like gold hidden in the earth, until the time of its revelation. Do not minimize this moment, because what you hear now carries the weight of the divine decree. Many doubted you, many mocked your faith, many said you would not see change. But I, Michael, declare in the name of the Eternal, the time of reversal has come. The doors that once closed before you will now open with authority. The chains that bound you to the past have already been broken. The delays that frustrated you were not meant to destroy you, but so that the glory of God might manifest undeniably in your story. Remember this: when you passed through deep waters, you did not drown, because the invisible hand of the Lord sustained you. When you went through the fire, you were not consumed, because the flame was used only to burn the ropes that bound you. When everyone else walked away, heaven remained by your side. Today I tell you, lift up your eyes, because the time has come when your journey will no longer be marked by weight, but will begin to be marked by signs of the supernatural. The earth will not understand, but heaven will celebrate what has been released for you. I know of the days when your soul cried out in silence, asking if anyone really listened. I know of the times when weariness tried to steal your hope, and when the waiting seemed endless. But here I am, sent as a living sign that you were heard. This message is the answer from heaven to your perseverance. The Eternal saw you resist, even when wounded. He saw you lift your hands in prayer, even when your mind screamed with doubts. He saw you endure, even when everything around you told you to give up. That is why today the command from the throne is clear. The time to rise has come. Receive this revelation. You were not called to be a spectator of miracles. You were chosen to be the protagonist of the manifestation of glory. What is about to come into your life will not look like anything you have lived before. The pain of the past will no longer have power over your identity. The weight of rejection will no longer determine your choices. Delay will no longer define your destiny. Heaven has decreed a turning point, and that turning point is already in motion. Just as the dawn breaks through the darkness of night without asking permission, so the light of the Most High is invading your story with nothing able to stop it. I declare before you, your enemies will see the hand of God lifting you up. Those who laughed at your faith will behold the victory that heaven itself wrote in your name. The doors that remained locked will open, not by the strength of your hands, but by the decree already signed. Shame will be turned into honor. Humiliation will be transformed into testimony. The desert will give way to the garden, and the emptiness will be filled with abundance. Do not fear the new time, for the Lord has already gone before you and prepared the way. Listen well, for this word is not to be forgotten. You are not late. You are exactly at the point determined by the Most High. Everything that seemed like delay was in fact alignment. Everything that seemed like loss was preservation. Everything that seemed like silence was strategy. Now the time of revelation has come, and nothing can stop what has been released. This is your hour, and I, Michael, have been sent to announce that heaven has marked you to live the extraordinary. Rise in spirit, for this is the call of the Most High. Walk with courage, trust without reservation, and declare with faith that your name is written in the eternal plan. Do not be distracted. Do not let doubt steal this moment. Keep this message like fire in your heart, for it will be the seal that reminds you at every step that you do not walk alone. Heaven has chosen you, and I am here as a living witness of this decree. The time of your transformation has begun, and the glory of God will be seen in you. Every prayer that left your lips, even those spoken in the midst of weariness and despair, was gathered and carried before the eternal throne. No word was lost, no plea was forgotten, no cry was ignored. I, Michael, was a witness to the nights when you lay down without strength, believing that no one was listening, but the Most High inclined his ears and recorded every detail of your pain. What seemed like silence to you was, in truth, attentive listening. A time in which the heavens moved on your behalf without your eyes perceiving it. I saw the tears that flowed in secret, those that not even your own voice dared to name. They did not fall into the void, but were stored in precious vessels, kept as seeds of a future that now begins to blossom. Your pains were never signs of abandonment, but marks of a heart that continues to beat in faith despite trials. The Most High never turned away from you. On the contrary, he sent legions of angels to surround your life, protecting you from invisible attacks and diverting dangers you never imagined existed. The care of heaven was a wall around you when you were the target of injustice. I myself, with my sword drawn, stood at the front of spiritual battles fought in darkness, battles your human eyes could not see, but that could have destroyed your future if the Lord had not decreed preservation. While you believed you walked alone, there was an army moving on your behalf, sustaining your steps and ensuring that your destiny was not stolen. Do not underestimate the love of the Most High for you. He knew every thought of uncertainty that filled your mind, every sigh of weakness that weighed on your chest, every feeling of being forgotten. I was instructed to tell you that nothing went unnoticed. The throne observed your days of discouragement and also your moments of resistance. The throne recorded when you chose to lift your hands even tired, when you decided to believe despite doubt, when you refused to abandon hope even without seeing an immediate sign. I declare before you, your life is not the result of chance, it is part of an eternal plan that remains intact. If there were delays, it was because the Most High was delivering you from paths that would seem promising but would bring destruction. If doors closed, it was because heaven knew that entering them would take you away from the inheritance already prepared. If friendships were broken, it was because they could not accompany the greatness of the destiny before you. Every detail was guided by a sovereign hand that prefers to preserve you rather than see you lost. The Most High has always been present between the lines of your story. He walked with you on deserted streets. He was by your side in days of sickness. He sustained your spirit when the weight of debts tried to crush your hope. He never took his eyes off you. The silence that most troubled you was not forgetfulness, but strategy. Like the potter who shapes the vessel in silence, he worked in your life in secret, preparing every curve, every detail, every structure to bear the glory that was drawing near. I come as an authorized voice to affirm to you, your endurance was not ignored. Every time you refused to yield to despair, you added a stone to the building of authority that now rises within you. Every time you trusted the invisible, even without feeling it, you strengthened the root of your faith. Now the time has come to reap the fruit of what seemed hidden. Angelic care not only preserved you, but also lifted you to a spiritual level in which your life will serve as a sign for others who still walk in darkness. The Most High is deeply involved in your story. He does not merely observe, he intervenes. He does not merely record, he responds. What seemed to be only waiting was, in truth, alignment. I, Michael, affirm the heavens never withdrew from you. Even when your heart felt empty, even when your thoughts were clouded with uncertainty, even when your soul cried out for help, you were surrounded by a constant presence. You were kept as a precious inheritance. You were protected as a hidden treasure. Listen to this truth. If you live today to hear these words, it is because the Most High preserved you from situations that would have destroyed not only your body, but your soul. You have no idea how many traps were undone, how many arrows were broken, how many accusations were silenced in the spiritual realm. The enemy planned your fall, but the Lord decreed your preservation. That is why I am here, to assure you that nothing you endured was in vain, but was recorded as proof of your faith and as a seal of your eternal destiny. Remain attentive, because heaven does not speak without purpose. The intervention has already been determined, and every detail of your life is under the careful gaze of the Most High. He has never been indifferent. He has always been present. And I was sent now to reinforce. The heavens remain deeply involved in your story, and the next chapters will be written not by the pain of the past, but by the mighty hand of the Eternal, who has decided to reveal to you the magnitude of his care. A radical change is about to happen, and I, Michael, come to announce to you in the name of the Most High that the time of your waiting has turned into a time of response. What once seemed unbearable pain and endless delay will be transformed into living signs of victory. The decree has already been released, and your story is being rewritten before the throne. Nothing that hurt you will have the power to determine who you are from now on, because what comes from heaven will carry authority to silence the voice of the past. There are miracles already signed with your name, prepared as gifts that cannot be given to another. They were kept for this exact moment, and the seal of the Most High guarantees that nothing will be able to prevent their arrival. The doors that remain closed before you will now begin to open naturally, not because your strength has changed, but because the time of God has manifested. What seemed distant is about to become tangible reality, and your life will be a living testimony that the impossible bows to the word of the Eternal. I was sent to tell you that your transformation will not come timidly or gradually. It will be sudden, like the morning light that tears through the darkness of night. It will be so clear and so undeniable that even those who doubted your faith will recognize that heaven intervened on your behalf. What was stuck will move, what was withheld will be released, and what was dead will come back to life before your eyes. The divine breath is already in motion, bringing life to what seemed lost. The Most High has decreed that your past will no longer have authority over your identity. The shame you carried will be replaced with honor. The humiliation you endured will give way to recognition, and the weight of rejection will be transformed into platforms of testimony. The enemy believed that his strategies would bind you forever, but God's decree cancelled every accusation. I, Michael, affirm nothing will be able to erase what has already been written in your favor in the eternal book. Your story will not end with pain, but with glory. The cycle that seemed endless of losses and frustrations comes to an end before the heavenly order. The new time is already being inaugurated, and there is no turning back. What heaven has decreed is irrevocable. You will see undeniable answers arise where once there was silence. You will experience supernatural movements where once there was stagnation. What surrounded you as a prison will now be transformed into a scene of liberation. Listen carefully. The miracles that come are not only for your personal comfort, but to raise you as a sign of hope for others. What the Most High will do in you will be so great that it will reach your home, your family, your community. The movement will be collective, but it will begin in you. You will be like a lighthouse lit in the midst of darkness, pointing to all that God still fulfills His promises and that He never abandons those who trust in His word. Do not fear the magnitude of the change, for it does not come to confuse you, but to align you. Heaven has not called you to merely survive, but to prosper in every area of your life. What was broken will be restored with greater strength. What was lost will be restored in double portions. The emptiness that surrounded you will be filled with abundance. Where there was pain, there will be comfort. Where there were doubts, there will be clarity. Where there were tears, there will be laughter that cannot be contained. I come to announce to you that this is the time of acceleration. What seemed to take decades will be accomplished in days. What seemed unreachable will be placed in your hands without human effort. The Most High has already ordered that the scales be adjusted in your favor. He has decreed that the earth recognize what heaven has already declared. Therefore, do not be surprised when unexpected doors open, when improbable connections arise, when new paths present themselves. This is the work of God, and you were chosen to live this fulfillment. I also tell you, the transformation will be so great that the enemy will not be able to deny it. He tried to suffocate your voice, tried to imprison your dreams, tried to extinguish your hope, but all he managed to do was prepare the ground for the glory to be manifested. What was defeat will become a trophy. What was shame will become testimony, and what seemed like an end will reveal itself as the beginning of something much greater. Receive these words as a seal of victory. Heaven has already moved in your favor, and there is no human or spiritual power capable of stopping what has already been released. Trust, because your life is about to be marked by undeniable miracles. I, Michael, declare over you, the time of transformation has come, and your story will be remembered not for the pain you endured, but for the miracles you will live from now on. No tear that fell from your eyes was wasted. Every drop that touched your face was recorded as a living offering before the throne of the Most High. What you thought was weakness was seen as faithfulness. What you believed was abandonment was received as a sacrifice of perseverance. I, Michael, was a witness to every night when your heart beat in anguish, believing you could not endure another day, yet you still chose to remain firm. What pressed you down like unbearable weight did not come to destroy you. It came to shape you. It came to forge within you the structure necessary to carry the glory that is about to manifest. Every rejection that wounded you was, in truth, disguised protection. You believed that doors closed because you were not worthy. But the truth is that heaven sealed those paths to preserve you from falls you would not have been able to withstand. Every no you received was a strategic redirection. Every silence you faced was an invisible shield. Every delay you endured was a greater alignment than you could understand. Today I affirm to you, everything that seemed like injustice was, in truth, divine justice in motion, preparing you to occupy a place where your life will not be mere survival, but a testimony of victory. The long wait was not a sign of being forgotten, but a time of planting in sacred soil. Your faith was sown in the soil of perseverance. Your patience was planted in the seasons of silence, and your tears watered every seed. Now, this field that seemed barren begins to show signs of germination. The harvest draws near, and it will not be small. Every fruit will be evidence that enduring was not in vain, that believing in the unseen was the decision that moved heaven in your direction. You believed you were alone in the battles, but I, Michael, was at your side in every war. I saw when the enemy rose against your mind, trying to steal your hope. I saw when he tried to imprison you in fear, trying to convince you that you would never see change. I saw when he launched accusations to crush your faith. And I also saw the Most High lift his hand and decree, up to this point he will come, but no further. You were guarded in the fire, you were sustained in the storm, you were preserved when everything seemed lost. Understand this, the pain you carried was not a curse, but preparation. The Most High does not waste suffering. He transforms every scar into authority, every wound into testimony, every fall into learning, every new beginning into living proof of resilience. You are not marked by weakness. You are marked by the endurance that rose within you when everything seemed to collapse. The fight you fought was not small, but neither is the destiny you carry. The greater the battle, the greater the revelation of the glory that will come upon you. I tell you, your endurance will become testimony for many. Others will look at your life and see that you were not defeated, even when all circumstances pointed to your fall. They will hear your voice and find hope. They will see your walk and find courage. They will recognize in you not someone who never suffered, but someone who, even in the midst of pain, rose with strength that can only come from heaven. The enemy thought your pain would be your end, but it will become your greatest banner of victory. The humiliation you endured will be transformed into a platform of honor. The tears you shed will be turned into songs of joy. The deserts you crossed will become rivers of abundance. What seemed like defeat will reveal itself as preparation for a time of achievements that will go beyond your understanding. Do not be alarmed when fruits begin to appear in areas that seemed barren. Do not be surprised when opportunities arise in places where before there were only locked doors. Do not doubt when your life begins to flourish in fields where before there was only pain. Heaven is showing that your endurance has grown deep roots, and now those roots sustain a tree that will give shade and nourishment to many who come near you. I, Michael, affirm your life will be remembered not by the weight of battles, but by the power of victory. What you endured in silence will be proclaimed in public as a sign that the Most High fulfills his promises. What seemed like a deadly burden will reveal itself as a crown of glory. What seemed to be your ruin will become the step that elevates you. And all will know that it was not your strength, but the power of the eternal that sustained you. Keep these words in your heart. No pain was lost. No day of struggle was in vain. No moment of weakness went unnoticed. Everything worked together for your formation. Everything was woven into the invisible thread of an eternal purpose. Now the fertile ground begins to bear fruit, and your life will become a testimony of living faith. Do not look back in lament anymore, but look forward in hope. For what was built in you through pain will now be revealed in glory before the eyes of all. Do not rush this moment, for what is before you is not just a distant promise, but a reality that has already begun to move in your direction. May Michael tell you with the authority of the Most High, do not turn your attention away, because the key released now will only open the doors for those who remain steadfast. Many are lost because they run ahead of divine time. Others fall behind because they let fear paralyze them. But you were called to remain in the exact position where revelation manifests. The time of the eternal never arrives late. While your mind thought you were off course, heaven was adjusting every detail so that you would be exactly where you need to be in this moment. What seemed like delay to you was, in fact, preparation. And what seemed like setback was, in fact, alignment. You are not at a disadvantage. You have not been forgotten. You have not been set aside. You are at the exact point of the plan, and now you are invited to trust without reservation. I know that fear tried to silence your voice. I know that doubt tried to extinguish your faith. I know your eyes grew weary of waiting for signs, but I affirm this is the moment to open your heart like never before. What is before you requires courage that comes from heaven and decision that is born of trust. Do not allow your past experiences to determine your present choices. The Most High has already decreed victory, and your part is to remain steadfast, not to waver, not to look back. The trust that the Lord expects of you is not fragile like sinking sand, but solid like rock. It is a trust that remains even when the mind does not understand, even when the eyes do not see. It is the trust of one who launches into deep waters, knowing they will not sink, because the hand of the Eternal sustains them. It is the trust of one who walks through deserts, knowing that springs will appear at the right time. It is the trust of one who keeps within the certainty that they have never been alone. I come as a witness to tell you that there is a key in your hands, but it only works if your heart remains firm. That key opens doors that human eyes cannot see and leads to paths that only heaven can reveal. But if you allow yourself to be carried away by haste, you run the risk of dropping it. If you let yourself be overcome by fear, you run the risk of abandoning it. Guard that key with zeal, for it represents the unwavering trust in the divine plan. Allow your faith to be greater than fear. Fear is the cry of the enemy trying to stop you from advancing, but faith is the response of heaven leading you to the fulfillment of destiny. Fear paralyzes, faith moves. Fear makes you go backward, faith opens doors. Fear holds you in the past, faith projects you into the future. You need to choose which voice you will listen to. Today I tell you, if you choose to trust, you will see the impossible become reality before your eyes. Make a decision now, and do not allow it to be stolen. Decide to trust, even when the mind screams doubts. Decide to remain even when the path seems empty. Decide to believe, even when nothing around you confirms what you hear. This attitude of trust is what releases heaven's movement over your life. The Eternal has already done his part. Now it is up to you to respond with faith. Do not despise this call. Many have heard messages and allowed them to become only words. But I declare that over you, it will not be so. You were marked to live what you hear, and not only to keep it as memory. Every word that now echoes in your spirit is living seed, and the way you receive it will determine the harvest that will come. If you receive it with trust, it will bear fruit in undeniable miracles. I also tell you, do not let distraction steal this moment. The enemy knows that trust opens doors he cannot close, so he will try to divert your attention with worries, with memories of past pains, with voices that try to confuse your mind. But you must discern and remain focused. Do not let anything, absolutely nothing, steal from you what has already been released. Listen. Your position now is one of courage, not of hesitation, not of fear, not of retreat, but of courage. Rise in spirit, declare your trust, affirm your faith. Heaven is with you, and I, Michael, am by your side as a sign that nothing will be able to stop the work begun in your life. Keep within you this certainty. You are not outside the plan, you are not late, you have not been forgotten. You are exactly where the Most High desires, and the key has already been placed in your hands. Remain steadfast, because what awaits you is not small, it is not fragile, it is not temporary. What awaits you requires trust, because it carries eternal weight. If your attitude is one of courage, if your posture is one of faith, you will see the heavens open and the revelation become reality in every area of your life. Do not go backward. Do not waver. Do not get lost in doubts. Today, the order is clear. Trust, open your heart, keep the faith, and walk with boldness, because what the Most High has prepared is already before you. You will begin to notice unusual movements in your walk, and they will not be illusions of the mind, but real manifestations of the care of the Most High over you. I, Michael, have been sent to confirm to you that heaven is drawing near to your life in a visible and tangible way. Soon your dreams will become clearer, bringing messages that do not fade at dawn, revelations that will remain engraved in your spirit. These visions will not be the fruit of imagination, but direct signs from the eternal throne to remind you that your life is being carefully guided. An inexplicable peace will begin to invade your heart at unexpected moments. When circumstances seem to scream chaos, you will feel a deep rest that has no earthly reason. This peace is a sign that the Eternal has already taken control of what troubles you. Do not doubt when it suddenly comes, because it will be the mark of the divine presence surrounding you and preparing you to trust beyond human logic. In the midst of weariness, flashes of hope will arise like sparks that light up the darkness. Even when your physical eyes see only challenges, you will feel within yourself a breath of renewed life, an invisible impulse that will make you believe again. This will not be the result of your strength, but the direct action of heaven renewing your spirit. Recognize in these moments the care of your guardian, for each spark is a confirmation that you are not alone. You will also hear your name echoing within your soul, not by external voices, but by an intimate call that will draw your attention. It will be as if the Eternal himself leaned down to remind you that you are known, that you are not a lost number in the world, but someone called personally. When this happens, do not fear, do not be alarmed, just receive it as a sign of closeness and direction. These signs are not the result of chance, and much less the product of a restless imagination. They are confirmations sent so that your heart may learn to recognize the steps of heaven in your story. Many times you asked for answers, and now the Eternal has chosen to reveal them to you through signs that your soul will understand. You will not be left in doubt because he knows how to speak to you in the way that best reaches your heart. Do not despise the small signs. What seems simple carries the weight of eternity, a dream, a peace, a whisper, a flash of hope. Each detail is coordinated to affirm to you that the angel who guards you is near. You have been surrounded by heavenly presences, and each manifestation has the purpose of strengthening your faith so that you can believe in what is already reality before God, even before your eyes see its fulfillment. There will be moments when your soul will tremble without explanation, as if an invisible wind blew over you. There will be days when you will feel a warmth in your spirit, like a fire that does not burn, but warms and comforts. There will be moments when your mind will be filled with sudden clarity, bringing answers you have long sought. These will be clear signs that the divine hand is upon you, preparing you for the next steps. I, Michael, say to you, do not pass over these signs, because they are like heavenly letters delivered to your heart. They come to awaken your perception, to train your spirit, to steady your feet on the path of faith. Each sign is like a lamp that lights up along a dark road, guiding you to the destination. If you walk attentively, you will not get lost, because there will always be a new light to point the way. Do not say in your heart that it is just imagination or coincidence. The enemy will try to convince you that none of this has value, but I declare that it is real and true. They are messages that come from a God who speaks in various ways, and who today has decided to use signs to confirm his presence to you. The more you trust and the more attentive you are, the more you will perceive these movements, and your heart will become sensitive to the touch of the Eternal. Keep within yourself this certainty. The signs are to prepare you for greater miracles. They are like seeds that awaken your faith before the harvest. They do not replace the promises, but they train you to believe in them. Each sign received is proof that the answer already exists in the spiritual world and will soon manifest in the natural. Your part is not to despise, not to ignore, and not to doubt. Embrace each confirmation, keep each detail, because together they will form the complete picture of God's faithfulness in your life. And when doubt tries to whisper in your heart, remember, heaven does not send signs without purpose. If they have come to you, It is because something great has already moved in your favor. Remain attentive, remain confident, and let each manifestation be fuel for your faith. You were chosen to live not only words, but evidence of divine care. Therefore rejoice when the uncommon happens, because it is heaven itself shouting that your story is being guided by the hand of the Most High. The cycle of losses has come to an end, and I, Michael, come to announce to you that now begins the cycle of restitution decreed by the very eternal throne. What was unjustly taken from you will be returned in double portions, and what seemed empty in your life will be filled with abundance that does not come from earth, but from heaven. The season of scarcity is over, and a new season opens before you, marked not by the weight of what was lost, but by the greatness of what will be restored. I affirm, what was broken will not remain in ruins. Every area of your life that seemed irreparable will be rebuilt with a strength even greater than before. What the enemy tried to destroy, the Most High will transform into living testimony of his faithfulness. Just as the walls that fell in Jerusalem were raised again with greater glory, so too your life will be lifted before all who doubted. What once served as a reason for shame will become the showcase of the honor that heaven has decided to release upon you. The doors that resisted will now open, not because your strength has multiplied, but because the divine order has been pronounced. When the Eternal speaks, no barrier remains standing. The obstacles that once seemed like insurmountable mountains will crumble before the voice of the heavenly decree. You will walk into territories that were once denied to you. You will enter places you never imagined setting foot in, and all of this will be a sign that it is not human merit, but supernatural grace. I tell you, you are no longer a prisoner of the past. The chains of loss have been broken, and the season of emptiness has given way to the season of abundance. What was in silence will now be filled with songs. What seemed barren will bear abundant fruit. What was closed will be thrown wide open by the power of the Most High. Do not be startled when unexpected opportunities arise, for they are not coincidences, but the fulfillment of what has already been written about your life. You are called to walk as heir of eternal promises. You were not created to live on the margins. You were not set apart to walk as one without destiny. You are part of a divine legacy, chosen to manifest on earth what heaven has already determined. The inheritance that belongs to you cannot be stolen, because it is not kept in the hands of men, but in the hands of God himself. And when he decides to release it, no one can prevent it. I assure you, everything that was lost will be returned, but not in the same form it left. It will come back greater, it will come back multiplied, it will come back transformed. The love that seemed distant will be restored with greater depth. The joy that seemed extinguished will be lit with greater intensity. The peace that seemed unattainable will be poured into your soul like a river that never runs dry. Every area that seemed dead will live again by the breath of eternal life. Listen carefully. This is not only about material restitution, but about complete restitution. What was broken within you will be healed. The wounds you carried in your soul will be closed, and scars that reminded you of pain will be transformed into signs of victory. You will be raised not only to enjoy the restitution, but to carry upon you spiritual authority that can only be given to those who have been tested and have endured. The enemy tried to mark your life with the label of loss, but the seal of heaven is stronger. Now your identity is marked by the victory that comes from the eternal throne. You are called to live as a beloved child, as a legitimate heir, as a witness that nothing can prevent the plans of the Most High. The season of dishonor has ended, and the season of honor has opened. I also tell you, what the enemy stole thinking it would be definitive, the Lord will turn into blessings that will surpass generations. The legacy you will leave will not be one of pain, but of faith. The testimony you will tell will not be of losses, but of undeniable restitutions. What you will receive will not be limited to you, but will reach your house, your children, and even those who will come after you. The cycle that ends today opens doors to a future that will carry the weight of eternity. Therefore, rise with courage. Walk with your head held high, not as one who only survived, but as one who has been restored to live in fullness. You are not a shadow of what was, but a sign of what is to come. You no longer carry the weight of yesterday. You now carry the promise of tomorrow. Your life will be remembered as a living testimony that God restores, that He does not abandon, that He fulfills every detail of what He promised. I, Michael, was sent to announce that the cycle of loss has ended and the cycle of restitution has begun. Receive this word as a seal of destiny. Walk as heir of eternal promises, because the divine decree has already been established, and nothing can revoke what the Most High has decided to do in you. The season has changed, and your life will never be the same. Receive this word as a seal of choice, because it was not man who called you, but the eternal throne itself that determined your name among multitudes. You are loved with a love that cannot be measured, guarded by invisible hands that never grow weary, and destined to live miracles that will not be limited to your existence, but will spread as an inheritance that will reach future generations. Every detail of this message was released to confirm that nothing can interrupt what has already begun in your life. Do not allow distraction to rob you at this moment. Many are the noises that try to divert your attention. Many are the voices that rise to sow doubt. But I, Michael, come with authority to declare that none of these echoes has power over the decree of the Most High. Distraction is like smoke that tries to cover vision, but it cannot extinguish the light of what has already been revealed. Guard your mind, protect your heart, because what heaven has released is already in motion, and only doubt can attempt to overshadow the brightness of what has been given to you. You were chosen to manifest light in the midst of darkness. Your life is not the work of chance, it is a project designed by divine hands. At every step, the spiritual world testifies that the choice made over you cannot be revoked. The enemy tried to delay, tried to paralyze, tried to confuse, but all his strategies fell to the ground before the higher decree that carries the eternal seal. Today, you are reminded that nothing can stop the purpose, because the purpose does not come from the earth, it comes from the heart of God. I, Michael, was sent as a living sign that heaven remains attentive to your journey. Do not look back with regret, but look forward with expectation. The transformation has already begun, even if you do not yet perceive all the details. Like the dawn that slowly breaks the night, the new time is already shining on your life. What is happening now is irreversible, and no opposing power can stop what has been initiated by the Most High Himself. Do not be deceived by the weariness that still tries to weigh upon you. It is only a remnant of past battles, but it does not define the present time. The seal has been placed upon you, and this seal is the guarantee that you will live undeniable miracles. There will be days when your faith will again be tested, but in those days, remember this word. The announcement has been made, and the order has already gone out from the throne. There is no turning back. The transformation has already begun to write a new chapter in your story. Listen well. This is not only a time to receive, it is also a time to manifest. You will be the bearer of what you receive, and your life will become a reflection of the light that heaven has decided to release. You were not chosen only to survive, you were chosen to carry hope, to be an answer, to be a testimony. What is fulfilled in you will serve as a beacon for others who still walk in darkness, and you will be a living reminder that God remains faithful in all His promises. I declare with authority, nothing will be able to stop you. Neither contrary words, nor hostile environments, nor looks of unbelief. The seal you carry is not visible to natural eyes, but it is recognized in heaven and respected in the spiritual realm. You are marked as heir of promises, and that mark cannot be erased. Your story is now linked to an eternal move, and the glory that will be manifested in you will be proof for all who behold your life. Do not underestimate what has been released. Sometimes the beginning seems small, but heaven does not work with human measures. A simple sign can be the announcement of great harvests. An invisible gesture can carry within itself an irreversible transformation. Receive every detail with faith, because everything is part of a greater purpose. The hand of the Most High does not move in vain. And if today these words reach you, it is because the eternal clock marked the exact moment for your life. The announcement has been made. Prepare yourself. Prepare to see doors opening, paths being revealed, relationships being restored, resources being released, promises taking form before you. Prepare to perceive that every step will be accompanied by clear signs of the divine presence. Prepare to witness that everything that seemed distant will begin to draw near with irresistible force. Heaven has decreed, and now the time of manifestation has come. Hey, Michael, seal these words over your life. You are loved, you are guarded, you are chosen, you are destined. Nothing can erase this decree. The light has already been lit in you, and no power of darkness can extinguish it. Your story has already begun to be transformed, and what lies ahead is greater than everything that was left behind. Receive this truth, walk with boldness, and keep in the depths of your being this certainty. Heaven has decided to reveal its glory in you, and nothing can stop the fulfillment of this eternal purpose.